Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today I'm going to be ranking every Megadeth album from my least favourite to my favourite. So, I'm doing this because this is the first time I get to talk about their new album, The Sick of Dying and Dead. Very excited for that. I have my opinion written down here. I wrote this yesterday, and funny fact, I tried to record this yesterday, and I accidentally said my 12th pick was the album after that, so I messed up. But anyway, now let's do it today. We're talking about The Sick of Dying and Dead. I also hope to review the album at some point. I just haven't listened to it enough yet. I did buy it on CD yesterday. Here it is. I got it on CD yesterday. The new album. And you'll get to see my opinions on it later in this video. So, I have all their albums on CD, so we'll be doing this with a CD. Also, these are all studio albums, so there won't be any hidden treasures, as good of an EP as it is, and anything else. Well, no compilation albums. They've released like 2 gazillion compilation albums. But yeah, so that's everything. And also, this is just my opinion. I would like to see your opinion in the comment section, but not those stupid comments where it's like, why is this album for this one? Why? You know, it's just my opinion. We're allowed to have different opinions. So, let's start off the list. Coming in at 16th, dead last place. There are only a couple of Megadeth albums I'd say are really quite bad. But it is Super Collider. So, Super Collider is not a very good album at all. Like I've said. Kingmaker is alright, but still, it kind of... I don't know, it's not a very good song, really. I don't love it. It's a good song, but it's still alright. And then Dance in the Rain is actually a really good song. Definitely my favourite on there. And then the rest of the songs, I mean, Forget to Remember is quite good. Cold Sweat is kind of annoying. And then, what else? Beginning of Sorrow is really annoying. And then what was it? I don't know. Burn is really annoying, and so basically what I'm trying to say is just all the other songs on the album are very good. It feels like it's the least inspired, and they were just very lazy on it. And also the title track got a music video, got whatever the hell, but either way, I don't care about that song, I don't like it. And yeah, just, I don't like coming back to it. I've already come back to it. And even when I do, I get up to have a second song, and I'm like, no, I've given up the title track. And just given up, so it's really over time I can't listen to this and think it's a great album. That's the only Megadeth album I have like 4 negative opinions on. Coming at number 14 is The World Needs a Hero. I was going to rank this higher, but when I went back to listen to this the other day, before, because I knew I was doing this ranking, wow, it's not as good as I remember it. So Disconnect is the opening song. That's quite a good song. And the title track is really weird and annoying. And just the amount of times he says World Needs a Hero just really gets on my nerves. Moto Psycho is kind of alright, but it's a bit weird and silly. 1,000 Times Goodbye is a good song. Dreading the Fugitive Mind is a brilliant song. I agree with a lot of other people when I say this, but Dreading the Fugitive Mind, definitely the best song on this album. That's a brilliant song. Return to Hangar, should have just left Hangar 18 alone, in my opinion. Losing My Senses, I'm kind of with everyone else on that one. It's just, there's nothing to it. There's nothing that makes it a good song at all. And it just goes on. And same goes for When, which is, I mean, I'm going to say it's the last one on the album, because I have the CD remastered copy where the final song is Coming Home, which is a cover. A really bad song, by the way. So yeah, that's World Needs a Hero. It's got some good stuff on it, and it's not as bad as Super Collider, so that's the placement there. Coming in at number 13 is everyone's least favourite, but it's coming in slightly higher for me. It is Risk. So this was, I was with everyone else not long ago, this was my least favourite on my last ranking. That was like a year ago now. Now I'm thinking, this has some fun stuff on it. It has Insomnia, good song. Prince of Darkness is quite a good song. Bayonet, Enter the Arena and Crush 'Em. Don't like that song, but to be fair though, this album does have what I think is the worst Megadeth song of all time. Is The Doctor Is Calling. It's just, what are they thinking? What are they thinking by making that song? The only good part about that song is the guitar solo by Marty Friedman. The rest of it is just poppy, doesn't fit the genre, doesn't do anything very well. It's really not a good song at all. And what else is on here? Ecstasy's alright, but then the rest of them are not very good. Don't like Breadline. Don't really like Time Beginning and Time the End. There, that's a risk basically. It's quite better than some of the other albums. So coming in at number... Wait. Oh, okay, yeah, 13 is, ironically, the album 13. It is 13, right? Yeah, it definitely is 13. Alright, I got confused for a second. Because when the albums come out, and I have to sort of like add another one on, and it's like, is it 16, 50? If that makes sense. So this album has some good songs, but kind of like Super Collider, it's very uninspired. But this has quite a few good songs on it though. Sudden Death is a great song, probably going to be number 1. A lot of people hate that song, but I actually really like it. It's a fun song, kind of weird and just fun to just listen to, if that makes sense. Whose Life Is It Anyways is alright, and then also Never Dead is a great song. I think, I would say Public Enemy number 1 is probably my favourite song on the album. Controversial opinion. The other songs are I mean, Black Swan is alright, but then the rest of the songs are kind of just a bit not very good. But like I said, it's the least inspired. They just took a lot of older riffs and just they didn't need to. And so this album, it's not incredible in my opinion, but it's still a great album. Coming in number 12 is United Abominations. Now the thing about United Abominations is it has some really, really good songs on it. Sleepwalker and Washington's Neck. Washington's Neck is probably in like my top 5 Megadeth songs of all time. It is an incredible song. Sleepwalker as well. Probably like almost towards top 20. Is a brilliant song. No, and then later in the album there's just some really stupid and rubbish songs. Like for example, a redone version of A Tout Le Monde. Well, not really. It's good, it's alright, but I don't like it, really. They didn't need to redo it. But A Tout Le Monde, the song on Euthanasia, was fine on its own, and what else is there? Play for Blood is a good song, I guess. Gears of War is alright. Burnt Ice is a great song. Is it Burnt Ice or You're Dead? I'm getting confused. But yeah, what I'm basically trying to say about United Abominations is it should be like around this spot on the list, because it has some brilliant songs on it, but then the rest of the songs aren't very good. Never Walk Alone, A Call to Arms is actually a good song as well. Forgot to mention that one. Title track is pretty good, so the first 4 songs are really good. The rest of the album is just, it just goes on. I mean, a really bad song, probably the worst one here, is America Stan. Probably the absolute one of my least favourite Megadeth songs. Coming at number 11 is Endgame. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be angry at me for this placement, but the only thing is, this album, I just have trouble coming back to. That's pretty much all. But it has some brilliant songs on it, incredibly heavy stuff, like Head Crusher will be in my top 20. Brilliant song. I love the riff, I love how heavy it is. Hans Then Goes Still With A Kiss is good, not perfect, but still pretty good. A lot of people hate it, I don't hate it personally. Bite the Hand, Bodies, This Day Fight, some brilliant songs. And then Dialectic Chaos in 44 minutes. I mean, the album is really good, but like I said, I just have trouble coming back to it. And I also just prefer the other albums, just because it comes in low on the list doesn't mean I don't like it. So that's my opinion on Endgame. Now this next album really sums up what I just said about Endgame, because I feel bad, honestly, by putting this album so low, because it has some of the best songs by Megadeth on it. But I'm having to put it really low just because I have to go with what I feel. The system has failed. The system has failed. It has some brilliant songs on it. It has Blackmail the Universe, Die Dead Enough, Kick the Chair is pretty good, and probably one of my favourite Megadeth songs ever, Scorpion. Tears in a Vial is really good, but then you have some sort of pointless songs like My Kingdom, Shadow of Death, and I Know Jack is just a pointless song. Back in the Day is a great song. I also quite like Truth Be Told. So all those songs there, they're all my favourites on this album. This is a fantastic album. But then all the albums after this one just top it up. So that's the reason why it's all the way down here on the list. It feels quite low down the list. Maybe it isn't. Alright, here we go. This is the moment people might have been waiting for. So at the moment, at number 9, is the new album, The Sick, the Dying and the Dead. So this might seem like a low placement. It's actually still quite a good album. So the title track, great song. I was there for the premiere yesterday when it went on YouTube. What else? Life in Hell's quite a good song. Night Stalkers, after re-listening to it, brilliant song right there. Absolutely love it. And then Dogs of Chernobyl is a really good song. And I also kind of quite enjoyed Killing Time and Soldier On. Then some of the other songs, the thing is, kind of like the chorus on We'll Be Back, they sort of just mix it in with some silly sort of rock themed choruses, if that makes sense. Because it kind of, when the chorus comes around, it just goes from thrash metal to kind of a rock sort of theme pretty fast, which is what I noticed on this album. But still though, this is a great album, and I just have more favourites. That is literally all. This is my placement for The Sick, the Dying and the Dead, new Megadeth album. And coming in at number 8 on the list is a very controversial one actually, Cryptic Writings. This album, I don't know why, I had it very low on my list before, but after re-listening to it, I've realised how great this album is. Trust is a great song. Almost Honest is a brilliant song. I also really like I'll Get Even. I know that's not a popular opinion, but I'll Get Even is a really nice, catchy song. And then She-Wolf is a great song. And Vortex is probably the heaviest song on this album, and probably one of the best songs on this album. Brilliant song. And yeah, they're all my favourites on the album. Use the Man is alright. I don't love it. Mastermind is not very good. The Disintegrators is quite good. A Secret Place, Have Horrible Travel. So yeah, I'm just naming pretty much every song on the album. I'm saying it's pretty good. So I don't see why people hate on this album. I mean, it has a bad reputation these days, obviously, because it's like, it was more of a, I heard it that Dave Mustaine was trying to write like a hit rock song and being sort of like all people around the time, which I mean is understandable. You would want to get popular, but stick with the music around the time instead of being the one band that does literally nothing like that. But I think they did great on it. They could release more albums like this one with like 1 or 2 heavy songs, which would be FFF. I think that means Fight for Freedom and Vortex. So that is Cryptic Writings. Coming at number 7, which was their latest album up until yesterday. It is Dystopia with a massive crack down it. Anyways, this album is brilliant. Actually has some of the best songs on it, I think. The Threat Is Real, it has to be one of my favourite Megadeth songs. Title track is another great song. Not as good as The Threat Is Real and some of the other songs on here, but fantastic song. Fatal Illusion is amazing, aggressive song. I also love Poisonous Shadows and Post American World. There's also Lying in State, Foreign Policy. Just pretty much every song on here is brilliant. This album, and the most recent album, I forgot to say this about Sick, the Dying and Dead, it proves that just because they're getting older, they can't stop, they can't sort of, their sound doesn't wear out, is what I'm trying to say. They can still be incredibly heavy, even though this is a studio album. And I'm saying that because some bands don't manage to do that, but Megadeth really do, and they do it brilliantly. So that is Dystopia. And coming at number 6, this was a hard one to rank actually. It is Killing Is My Business and Business Is Good. So this was a little bit higher. It's come down a few spaces because after re-listening to it, I've realised that it's kind of just a bit too. Megadeth aren't really meant to be. Okay, I mean, I enjoy a good speedy song from Megadeth, but they just, on some of the songs on here, Mechanics is probably my favourite on here. They just took the Four Horsemen, changed the lyrics, and sped it up because Dave Mustaine originally wrote the song, which was, I guess, a good idea because it is a brilliant song. Rattlehead is now one of my favourites. The title track is brilliant. Last Right / Up to Death is a great song. I don't know why they had to have that piano opening at the beginning. That was a bit unnecessary, but yeah. And then the rest of the songs aren't as good. Still brilliant, but not as good. And it's also just a bit too fast. Megadeth, I don't think, were born for speed metal. I don't think. Or sort of incredibly fast pace, incredibly speedy stuff, if that makes sense. So yeah, there that is. And coming in at number 5, top 5 now. So far so good, so what? This has, the thing is about this album is, it had Into the Lungs of Hell to begin with, amazing song. Set the World Afire, amazing song. Anarchy in the UK is probably one of the absolute worst covers, and I think he kept getting the lyrics wrong, Dave Mustaine. But still though, like the other incredible songs, In My Darkest Hour is on this album. That song is definitely my top 10, and most Megadeth fans will probably agree with me when I say that. And what else? Mary Jane 502. I really like Mary Jane. 502 not as much. Hook in Mouth is a brilliant song. And so yeah, almost all the songs on this album are 100% flawless. And coming in at number 4, I think this is going to surprise everyone that it's this high. At number 4, I'm putting Euthanasia. Everyone's going to hate me for doing this. But seriously, this is a brilliant album. Reckoning Day is on this album. Don't love it as much as all the other songs, but it's still a great song. I've heard a lot of hate for Train of Consequences, and I do not have any understanding why. That is probably once again my top 10. It's one of the absolute best Megadeth songs of all time. And Same with Addicted to Chaos, that could even make my top 3. Addicted to Chaos is one of the best Megadeth songs I've ever heard. I absolutely love it. A Two in One is a great song. They also, no one ever talks about this song, but I really enjoy Elysian Fields, those backing vocals in the chorus and all those other parts. It's a brilliant song. Also the title track, Blood of Heroes. I Never Loved Victory, and then after that you've got the songs that I don't like as much, and that is Euthanasia. Amazing album. And coming at number 3, now this is going to be a difficult one to do because the CD copy I got is of 2 albums, but just pretend that one's not there for the current minute. I'm going to be talking about Countdown to Extinction. So, Countdown to Extinction, this album has some of Megadeth's absolute best work. Almost every song on here is brilliant. So there's Skin of My Teeth, which you open the album with, amazing thrashy song. Symphony of Destruction is one of the most well-known songs. I'd say their signature song is Holy Wars, but I mean, people say it's Symphony of Destruction. I think it is their most listened to song on Spotify. So if you believe that, I don't blame you. Architecture of Aggression is an amazing song, very underrated too. And then there's also Foreclosure of a Dream, amazing sort of rock kind of based song. And then there's Sweating Bullets, another classic. There are a lot of classics on this album, including Ashes in Your Mouth, amazing, absolute classic song. And then High Speed Dirt, Psychotron, just every song on here pretty much is a fantastic song. I absolutely love this album. So, that is number 3, Countdown to Extinction. Number 2 is He Sells But Who's Buying. I think we all know why. The only song I don't like as much on this album is I Ain't Superstitious. Every other song on here I love. Not that I don't like I Ain't Superstitious. I actually really like that song, but not as much as the other ones on here. Wake Up Dead is an amazing song where he invented this sort of like spider power chord on the guitar. I don't really know what it is, but still great song. Peace Out is like in everyone's top absolute favourite. Not my top absolute favourites, but it's one of the most iconic bass lines in metal. In my opinion, it's one of those classic riffs in metal music. You can just play it and people are like, yeah, that's Peace Out by Megadeth. And then there's some really underrated stuff on here. Devil's Island, My Last Words. Good Morning, Black Friday is another one. I really like that song. But, I mean, I Ain't Superstitious is probably my least favourite on this album. And but still amazing song. This is one of their best albums to date. And number one, we all know what it is. It's my favourite album of all time. And I have it as a 2 CD edition, so ignore the Countdown to Extinction is on here. Rust in Peace. There it is. Rust in Peace, the absolute best release of all time. And so this album has all the absolute best songs. Holy Wars is, like I said, probably their signature song. Then there's Hangar 18. I'm just naming them all at this point. But my favourite Megadeth song of all time and my favourite song of all time is on here, Tornado of Soul. I love the aggression in the chorus, the verses, everything, and the guitar solo by Marty Friedman. Marty Friedman on this album, absolute guitar legend as well. Had to point that out. And what else? Holy Wars is probably one of my favourites. Not my favourite song, like everyone says. It's maybe a little bit overrated because it's just everyone's just like, oh yeah, Holy Wars is my favourite Megadeth song. But yeah, Hangar 18 is on here as well. I also really like Dawn Patrol. While that is probably the least favourite, but my least favourite on the album, if you don't include My Creation, that is probably one of the most. That is probably the weakest song on the album, but still, that really shows what David Ellefson can do, other than just playing bass just hidden away in Megadeth. So there we go. Every song on that album is 100% flawless. That's my list. Please let me know in the comments down below what you would put for your ranking. That is my ranking. So I'll see you in the next video, and goodbye for now.